Good morning, everyone. And it is 6 a.m. Well, the laughter, I'm running a few minutes late. And welcome to session 4 of What is a Raindrop Anyway? So, if you remember, in our last session, I mentioned that this session we were going to talk about the first step of Raindrop, which is actually called a VitaFlex. And when I first heard that term, I had no clue what it meant, and I'm figuring you probably don't either. So I thought we would talk this morning a bit about VitaFlex, what it is, and why Raindrop actually starts with applying oils to the feet instead of when we're focusing on back health. So what do the feet have to do with it anyway? So the information I am going to be sharing this morning is from this little book. It's called my Pocket Reference. It's got a whole section on it concerning the VitaFlex technique. So let's kind of dive in just a little bit. So VitaFlex is said to have originated in Tibet, actually, thousands of years ago, and was perfected in the 60s by Stanley Burroughs, long before acupuncture was popular in Western medicine. So I thought that was interesting. This is actually not a new technique. It's quite old. It did originate in the East and not in the West, but it has been used quite a bit. But it is the technique, the VitaFlex technique, is based on a complete network of VitaFlex points that stimulate all the internal body systems. So basically, when the fingertips connect to specific reflex points, especially with essential oils, using the VitaFlex application, an electrical charge is released that sends energy through the neuroelectrical pathways. So this is interesting. What we're doing is we're using our body's natural pathways, because remember, our body communicates a lot with hormones and with electricity, because that's how the nerves communicate, is through those electrical pulses. So the human body has a lot of electricity in it. And what we're doing is we're taking advantage of those natural pathways to promote what we're trying to promote here. But the electrical charge follows the pathways of the nervous system to where there's a break in the electrical circuit, usually related to an energy block caused by toxins, damaged tissues, or loss of oxygen. So what we're doing is we're stimulating that pathway to see, if there's a blockage there, and then the idea is to clear the blockage so that our body can function the way it was intended to function. Now, this was also really interesting. In acupuncture, there are 365 points throughout the body that can be used to, I'm not up on acupuncture, but to do whatever it is acupuncture does to clear pathways or whatever. I'm sorry. Again, I haven't researched acupuncture. But there are more than 1,500 VitaFlex points that are located throughout the body. Now, the ones I know about are on the feet. So mostly on the bottoms, but there are a few on the top of the feet, the hands, and along the spine. And each point corresponds to, I think there are some on the ears too. Anyway, but each point corresponds to like an internal organ or a place along the body. So it's pretty cool that you can play with someone's feet and stimulate their spine or their lungs or, their brain. I actually take advantage of this every single day because when we're getting ready for bed, I put oils on my kiddos' toes because, well, specifically the big toe, because the big toe is the VitaFlex point for the head. So that actually, by putting their sleepy oils on their toes, it helps them sleep at night. Pretty cool. But VitaFlex actually uses a rolling and releasing motion that involves placing the fingers flat on the skin, rolling up onto the fingertips, and continuing over onto the fingernails. And then basically you do the motion, and then you move and you do it again, and you move and you do it again, and you move and you do it again. And I'll demonstrate that on my hand here in just a moment. But basically, and you repeat it in sets of 3. So when you're doing a raindrop, what you do is, so I'm going to show you just here on the pump. Actually, all right. First things first, when you are doing VitaFlex, you do not want to have fingernails. So see, mine are actually much too long for a true VitaFlex right now. I would have to trim them much more. So you want to basically have no nails, and you want to make sure they are filed very smooth, because what you're doing, let me see if I can demonstrate here on my hand. See, kind of get where you can see it. There we go. All right. So what you do is you start with the pad of your finger, you roll up to the tip, and then you flip over, and that's the motion. And then you would slide, and same thing, pad, tip, flip, pad, tip, flip, pad, tip, flip. And you just keep going. And in a raindrop, you would actually do that on the foot. And we want the part that corresponds to the spine, because raindrop is focusing on spinal health. So you would do that. All right, so this would be my big toe. So you do it from the very base of the foot up the inside until you get to the top of the big toe, and you finish. And that's 1, and then you do it again 2, and then you do it again 3, and then you switch and you do it on the other foot. So you do it on both feet. Always in sets of 3. But that is how a raindrop starts, is with the VitaFlex technique, and you're going along the spinal correspondent on the foot. So that's the VitaFlex points. And you go, you would start with the first oil and then go through the whole series, doing VitaFlexing each foot 3 times. Believe it or not, it takes longer to demonstrate it and talk about it than it does to actually do it. So I found that once you get into that rhythm, it's not hard. When you first start, it's a little weird. It's kind of an odd motion. But once you get the hang of it, it's not difficult at all. The big thing is those fingernails. You want to definitely make sure that they are well trimmed, like you would if you were giving a massage. You definitely don't want those nails digging into the skin and the muscle, because that gets very uncomfortable on the person receiving the technique. So yeah, make sure you are trimmed and filed smooth. But let me see if there was anything else I wanted to mention. Let's see. But the book goes on to say that VitaFlex corrects weakened or injured areas through the electrical reflex points, preventing further energy and less stress, and allowing for quicker, more efficient healing. Now remember, the body heals itself. And so if it doesn't have any blockages, if it can, send the messages it needs to send, then it'll be able to do what it needs to do better. It's just like clearing out any communication line. Once it's clear, your messages get through. But if there's any kind of blockage there, your message might be garbled or not get through at all. So we want to make sure the body's message pathways are clear and functioning properly. So there you go. That is pretty much what VitaFlex is. And I'll kind of show you these charts. And this is the chart we're going to take advantage of in the raindrop technique. It's the foot chart. So see, there's the spine course, but you'd actually start here at the base of the foot and come up all the way to the top of the big toe. And you would do that on each foot. Anyway, all the way all the way up. Sorry, since you can read this, it's backwards for me, so that's why I'm always moving things around kind of weird. And there are a few VitaFlex points, as you can see here at the top of the foot. These are the points that we take advantage of when we do a raindrop technique. There are also quite a few here along the spine and then in the hands as well. See, on each hand there. But I have taken advantage of the VitaFlex points in the hand, but not with raindrop. I do that with some of the emotional release protocols. Because anyway, trust me on that. But if you guys have any questions about VitaFlex or anything like that, please drop me a comment. I'll be happy to do my best to answer them, or at least direct you to where you can find your own answers. Next week, we will start looking at all of the oils that you would use in a raindrop technique, and maybe some of their history. I'm not sure yet, but we will definitely start talking about the oils that are used and the order they are used in, because that also is very important. For the most part, the order on the feet and the back is the same, I think with one exception. But other than that, it's simple. I won't try and describe every aspect of a raindrop, because trying to describe it is difficult. It's a lot easier to see it. I don't know that I personally will be able to do a raindrop demonstration here, but I can direct you to videos where that you can see one if that is something you are interested in. So again, let me know. As we continue this series, I will start going through the oils of raindrop and why we use them. So thank you so much for joining me this morning, and I will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a great one. Bye.